Hi everyone, I'm here today to review Too Close to Breathe by Olivia Kiernan, and I received this book, or rather a digital copy of this book, from the publishers via NetGalley, and I gave it 3 stars, and 3 stars is always bad news for me because 3 stars means not very memorable. Didn't hate it, didn't love it, nothing special. So I can't even remember this book all that well, and I only finished it a couple of weeks ago, maybe 3 weeks ago. And so I'm going to struggle with this review quite a bit and have to look at my notes a lot. This is meant to be, note the word meant, a thriller that's dark and fast-paced and sort of full of gory crimes. It's been compared to the likes of Gone Girl and also Tana French's works. I disagree with those comparisons, even though I haven't read Gone Girl. I've seen the movie and I feel like it's so different to this book, you can't even begin to go there. And meanwhile, other people's reviews have said that it's also nothing like Tana French's work and that Tana French does a much better job of this. So, we follow Detective Chief Inspector Sheehan, I believe her name is, and she has been sort of off work for a little while before this case. And I'm sure it tells you why she is off the case, been off work, but I can't remember anymore. It's a sign of this book. And I mean, it's okay to forget little details like that, but I also can't remember main things about the actual plot itself. So I do remember that there are some really gruesome murders in this, and that I actually really enjoyed those scenes. They were disgusting, they were different. You wouldn't necessarily assume that they are murders from the beginning, which is the whole point that they then go through. They have to work out what is going on with these mysterious deaths, whether people are committing suicide, whether there's something more to it. And it's really quite gross in places, and I really enjoyed that. Also the ending, I can remember the ending, and that packed a punch. But yeah, the start's there, the end's there. I can't really remember the middle much at all. I didn't particularly like Sheehan. I didn't really grow to her. I found her quite boring. There was loads of references to a case that was from, like, the past. But that's not even a readable case because this is the author's debut novel and also, therefore, the first book in the series. So this annoyed me a lot because we don't have this background and we have no way of having that background. So that annoyed me. I will say, while I'm quickly on the subject of it being a debut author, I thought it was okay. I mean, there's definitely worse debuts out there, but there's definitely better. And so, I mean, for a debut, it's not bad, and I won't write this author off from this book alone. I will probably try out more of her stuff because there's only one way to go in most cases, and that's upwards. So the writing might get better for future books. Just wanted to get that out there. So this book is set in Ireland, and in some ways I couldn't really tell that it was set in Ireland through like descriptions of places. It didn't really mean anything to me. I mean, I've not been to Ireland, so I'm probably not in the best place to even say that anyway. But the only thing that made it feel slightly Irish was the fact that there was a lot of Irish slang thrown into the writing, which, again, since I'm not familiar with that, did make it a little bit harder to read, but at least did make it feel more authentic. So that's not necessarily a negative at all, it's just something I wanted to point out. I also just want to say that I'm really not sure whether this book would have gone better for me if I'd been in the right frame of mind and if I hadn't been as busy. So with a thriller, the idea is that they're page turners and you get through them quickly. This is okay unless you're a really busy person. And when I was trying to read this book, I was a very busy person. And I was only getting a chance to read for 10 minutes there, 20 minutes here, 15 minutes there. And it just wasn't working out for me. And I do wonder whether this also had an impact on my enjoyment, whether I'd have got into the story a little bit more, whether I'd have liked Sheehan a little bit more if I'd actually been able to just read the book as intended. You know, fast-paced, just fly through it kind of deal. So I, again, want to throw that out there because you might have a very different reading experience to me if you are able to read this in like 1 to 2 sittings. I even considered DNFing this book a couple of times. That's how much I struggled with this book. But the murders this makes me sound like some really messed up person. The murders are what kept me interested. I was so into wanting to know who was killing these people and why they were doing it in such a really disgustingly messed up way. Because, like I said, these are some of the most gruesome murders I've come across in books for a while, and blah, 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 blah. It did make me feel a little bit vomity at times. It's definitely not the worst murder I've ever come across. That title goes to a different book that I can't think of right now, and that one I did nearly throw up. So this one isn't at that level, but it's still pretty disgusting. And so if you do have a weak stomach, this probably isn't actually going to be the book for you. I just want to get that out there too, because yeah, it's a little bit gross. I must say, I can't remember who the killer is. That's terrible. I can't remember at all who the killer is. I just remember how everything gets wrapped up. I also can't remember the motivations behind the killings, and I hope that was explained again. I can't remember, and I'm sorry about that. But, you know, we need honest reviews out in the world, and this is an honest review. I can't remember. It was only a few weeks ago, and I can't remember, so that means it didn't have much of an impact on me, and that's what I want you to take away from this review, basically, that this book lacked impact, lacked punch, lacked motivation for me, because there were a few times where I could have read longer than 15 minutes and just didn't want to. I was like, yeah, I've read a bit today, that'll do. So it just lacked. It wasn't terrible, it wasn't wonderful, it was in that middle ground that many books find themselves guilty of falling into. Forgettable. I wouldn't say don't pick this up. I think that it could be a good read. And in fact, quite a few people have given it 5 stars on Goodreads, and you look at it sometimes. It's one of those books for me where I look at it and I go, what have I missed? They're giving it 5 stars, they're giving it 5 stars, they're all going, oh my god, yes, amazing debut. And I'm like, yeah, not sure. Though there have been a couple of people that have also given it 1 and 2 stars, so, you know, at least I've had a better experience than them. So yeah, if you think that you might be interested in a really gruesome murder plot, by all means, potentially give this a read. But it wasn't for me, though I will check out more by this author in the future. So thank you so much for watching this review. Please let me know if you have read this book or if you're planning to pick it up. I would love to know. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Subscribe by clicking the image of me if you want to see more book reviews and other bookish content from me. And I will see you soon. Bye bye!